So I was going to save this message for Father's Day, but this came up today in a counseling session with a woman who has a son, and there's a lot of stuff that came up, and I thought about it, and I was like, I don't think women understand the importance of what a male presence, energy does for the lives of young boys, young men. It's so imperative, so necessary, and a certain element of this is literally life and death. So, you know what? We're not going to normally talk about this in depth or whatever until the Father's Day episode, but right now we're going to touch on it. We're about to get into it with today's lesson, the importance of fathers. Let's get it in. So what does this mean, ladies? I know you're probably thinking, what do you mean the importance of fathers? Yeah, I know they're kind of important, but you don't need them. Nah, you don't understand, ladies. So if you are a single mother, if you have a son, if you want your son to be a decent human being / alive, this is a lesson that you do need to learn. Okay? So this is what it is. And it sucks, ladies. I know you don't want to hear it. You don't want to think that you need help or that... I get it. Hansel has told you.
That Hansel's so hot right now.
That men are not necessary in your life. That you can easily do this without one. That you can be independent and that you can play both roles, the man and the woman role. Nah. What's hot right now might be that that's the narrative, but that's not accurate. That's not real. That's not what is going on inside here. And the fact is, ladies, and I know you're not going to like this, but I need to tell you the truth. You're not a man. You have no idea what's going on inside of here. You don't get it. This is something that's necessary and imperative. There's a process that's going on inside you, ladies, that you don't get and you need. And by you, I mean your son, the little man in your life. He's going to need, and I mean that, need a man, a strong male figure to teach him and explain to him everything that's going on. The process starts a little something like this. So it starts off with him feeling himself. And when I say feeling himself, I mean literally you feel different. You feel yourself become different. When you start to cross over from 9, 10, 11, 12, that age, those ages right there, you start to feel power flow into you. Power. You start to have your feet grow, your arms and legs grow. You're starting to get hair on your nuts. Random things start happening to you. And I know, ladies, I can hear you right now. You might be saying, oh yeah, we understand that because things happen with us too. It's different for you, ladies. When we feel ourselves, it's not what you feel. You generally feel a change in your brain chemistry, in your body with the menstrual cycle. You start to grow things and feel awkward, and it starts to make you feel, no offense, ladies, a lot of you have described this feeling as feeling less than, as feeling like you want to go inward, like it's something that makes you feel ashamed. I don't think you should. I'm not saying that you should. I'm just saying, based on what I've heard over the years and me raising little girls, the experience for you tends to be something that goes like this. For us, it's the opposite. We are going like this. We are stretching out. We start to feel more. We start to feel power. We start to feel good. We still feel awkward. Don't get me wrong. Different parts of you grow at different speeds. So your feet might be growing all fast, but your legs don't grow. Then your legs might grow fast, but then your head is still a weird size. Or your arms might be really long, but your torso doesn't grow. You grow, different parts of you grow at different. You have to take time to learn how to walk and how to move. You're changing rapidly. Now, why is this important? Why, if you don't have a strong male presence in your life, why does that matter? Because you don't know what to do with all that power. So again, ladies, I don't care if you want to call it mansplaining, don't give a flow. My job is to teach you, okay? I'm a man who's explaining. It's kind of what I'm supposed to do. But anyway, For y'all, it tends to be something, like I said, where you go like this, for the most part. Not to say that you don't gain some confidence and some other stuff like that, but for us, it's literally power. You feel strength in weird areas that you didn't know you had. So you might feel more confident or whatever, ladies, but do you feel the same thing we do in terms of, do you want to just punch something? Now, I get it. You might feel angry where you're like, oh, I'm so mad. Yeah, that happens all the time. I get mad. No, I'm talking about, do you feel the urge to punch something because you're happy? Do you get the urge to punch a hole in the wall for the fun of it? Because you feel like, yo, I feel stronger. I think if I just hit the wall a little harder, I could probably put a hole in it. What do you think? Yeah. Especially if you're around some other boys, please. Now, you might think I'm joking. No, you want to break things, crush things, set things on fire. You want to blow things up. You want to do damage. I call this your decade of dumbness. Between like 11, 12, 13, it lasts for about 10 years, homie. 10 years of this dude pushing the bounds of what he can do. He's experimenting. And he wants to feel what it feels like with all this power because he doesn't know what to do with it. You know what it's like, ladies? It's like those superhero movies where it's like a training montage where the person just got their power and they're learning how to walk and how to move, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, oh, I can do this, or I can fly, or all these weird things where you feel power and you are trying to figure out how to use it and what to do with it. You don't know what you can do, but you feel like you can do anything. And that is where the danger comes in. This is why you need a strong male presence. Strong. So to bring this back to how it all started, in this counseling session, the woman I was talking to, she had said something about a school counselor had said to her that, yeah, her son is feeling his power. So she was right about that. But then she said, but yeah, you just got to let him like breathe and let him do his thing. And I'm like, she told you what now? Nah. Any dude watching this, any dude listening, if you watching this with your man, look, he gonna be like, nope, that's not what you do. This little your son, I know, this little dude, this little person, this little man, this little dude, he be feeling himself. He does not need to be allowed to just stretch and do whatever. No. This is the time in his life, at the most, where he needs to be checked. He needs to be brought down a peg. He needs to be reminded that he is not the most powerful man in the room, that he is not the big swinging dong that he think he is. Nah, he needs a reality check. And what happens is, if he is not surrounded, or at least having some kind of strong male above him, if he doesn't have that, he's gonna get arrogant. He's gonna think and feel like there's nothing above him and he can do whatever he wants. It's going to create a supervillain versus a hero. Not a superhero, but a supervillain. Is that what you want in your hands? Because right now, you have the makings of a villain if you don't have a strong male presence to check this dude. If you don't have a strong male presence to remind him, nah, homie, get back down there, young buck. You got a lot to learn. Because during this time, ladies, it can't be you. And I know you don't like that, but it can't be you. You can be the baddest mama on the block. You can be dangerous as all hell. You could be bigger than him, taller than him, but no offense, ladies, and you're not going to like this. When the smoke clears, you are still a woman. And I'm not saying this to say that you don't have what it takes to be a good mom or anything like that. You could be the most amazing mom. And you could try to play both roles, and you could be all masculine and have all kinds of DMX energy, but it is nothing compared to what he thinks and feels on a primal caveman level. I'll put it to you this way. You could see your son feeling himself, right? And you're seeing him start to talk back to you, start to get a little like, yeah, that's right. He gonna like stretch out and be like, yep, I'm gonna let my nuts hang. I'm gonna do what I want. Because he starts to think and feel, I'm getting bigger than mom. I'm getting stronger than mom. I'm faster than mom. I can take mom's yelling. It don't mean nothing. I don't give a flow. I don't care. What's she gonna do? We think and feel this. What is she gonna do? Your response, again, you could be the most aggressive. And I'm not condoning violence against your kids. But I'm saying because I've seen women go to this extreme, you could hit this dude with a bat. You could do all kinds of stuff on the regular just to try to assert your dominance. All he's going to think, ladies, is that mom is crazy and I'm still the man. That's all he's going to think. He's just going to classify you as a crazy woman, not a dominating figure. You can no longer dominate him after a certain point. It's never going to happen. It just won't. Not on a physical plane. You have a power that men don't really have. You got the power of persuasion and the word stuff. You can control him on a conscious level and that's a whole other video. But when it comes to checking him and reminding him that he is not the big swinging dong, he is not the man of the house, as if he can just do anything he wants, that there's no consequences to anything, you need to be a man. He needs to feel male energy. And again, ladies, I know you don't like this. Some of you understand. Some of you are like, nope, I get it. I had brothers, or I understand. My father taught me. Some of you might completely understand this and might just be in a situation where you don't have strong male presence around you you got to find one. But it is not something you can go without. It's not. And ladies, this is the crazy part. Even he knows it's imperative. Like I said, it's a need. It's not something he can go without. He's going to feel he needs it. He's going to seek it out, even though, yes, it means he has less power. He's still going to seek out, who do I watch? Because, ladies, unlike y'all, and yes, I'm generalizing, I don't give a flow, I need to spit, I need to teach right now. Unlike a vast majority of you who grow up thinking that you know everything, you don't need a guidance until later in life, for us, it's reverse. We need our guidance up front. And we know this. We need a guidepost. We need a man doing something that we can watch him doing it. We need to watch him walk. We need to watch him talk. We need to watch him shake hands. We need to watch every tiny little thing he does, especially on a physical level. We literally would be like, wait, how is he standing? What do I do with my hands? We don't know what to do. Now, in general, little girls don't act like they don't know what to do. If anything, the only thing I've seen little girls really trip on when it comes to not being an adult, is when it comes to size. Where they're like, I'm too small to do that. But in terms of like knowing what she wants and knowing how to function, knowing how to move through life, girls are like, get off me. I got this. The boys, though, we feel powerful, but we don't know what to do with all that power. So we will seek out guideposts. And why is this dangerous, ladies? Because we don't care where it comes from. We are a practical, pragmatic, logical, straightforward people, men. So if the guidepost that we find is not the greatest man, doesn't matter. What we will ask is he strong? Is he respected? Do people fear him? Strength type things, very caveman type things. That's it. That's kind of it. Now, whether you know this or not, whether you believe it or not, it's one of the biggest reasons why people get into gangs. Not because of the drugs and the guns and the money and all that. No, mostly because of the male leadership. They're looking for structure. We look for hierarchy. You all are all about the equality and everybody, ain't nobody above you. We look for men above us to pattern ourselves after. To watch how he does it so we can learn what to do, because we know that we don't know. We know we don't know everything. We know we have no idea. Like, we're shaking hands, we must be doing it wrong. We're walking, we must be doing it wrong. Like, we're constantly thinking we're doing something wrong. The only time we don't, ladies, during this whole little decade of dumbness kind of thing, is if we dealing with our moms. our moms, our aunties, whoever. Like, we think, okay, if you were a girl that we're trying to get after in a romantic tip, then we might listen to you. But if you're the mom, we think, you don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea what it means. We feel it. That we know that you don't know either. We don't know how to work us, and we know that you don't know how to work us. Even if you know some skill and you've been taught by your dad or whatever, it is not the same as being in the body of a man. To know that you could put your fist through a wall for the fun of it, and you have the desire to do so. I am one of 25 plus grandkids on one, not an exaggeration. And the vast majority of us are men. And it's the reason why my grandmother's house constantly had holes in the wall. Me and my cousins and uncles and what it was like, we would just do things to test strength. During the decade of dumbness, you are testing bounds, testing to see what you can do, what you can get away with, how much attitude you can put out in the world, how much force it takes to punch a wall. How can you knock a guy out? Can he knock you out? You test everything on a physical, legal level. And there's going to be a whole video about the decade of dumbness and breaking it more down. But if you don't have a man who's above this little dude, checking him and being like, "Yo, don't go there. Nope, you ain't the most powerful." You're just creating an arrogant little person who grows up and thinks he's never been checked. All he's ever felt is power. All he's ever felt is this limitless ability to do whatever. Now, this is separate from the emotional mental portion. On an emotional mental level, no, as a man, you're told you're the worst things in the world, you're horrible, you're everything's against you mentally and societal wise. So, ladies, if you think that men are running everything, I don't know who told you that lie. That's some old stuff. But in 2024, and for the last 50, 60 years, it's been you. But whatever. Point is, we feel it within ourselves. And if we don't have someone checking us, not only does it create that supervillain thing, but we start to look for it. And we might find it in the wrong place. We might find a guidepost who is the gang leader, who is the leader of a motorcycle gang, or it's not always going to be the pastor. It's not always going to be the great T-ball coach who's like Ned Flanders. You can't always find good, strong men who are good role models around corners everywhere. It's not so you, ladies. This is why this lesson is for you. It's not for your son, it's for you. You need to provide that for him. You can't deny it from him. You can't take it away and think it's not important. You can't act like it's you. No amount of physical force you bring, none of it compares to just, no offense, ladies, again, you might get offended, but you punching your kid, you shouldn't, I'm not condoning that, but you could do crazy things on a physical level to your son to try to check him. It's not the same as a man just simply saying, "Sit down." What did I just say? You think I'm playing? All right then. He ain't got to do nothing because there's a difference. We feel it and we know on a primal animal level. Because again, ladies, if you don't have this, if he's not checked, what's going to happen during this bounds pushing thing is graduation, escalation. He's going to continually graduate to bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger things. If nothing stops him, and even when he does, because that's the thing, even when you do got a good daddy, even when you do have a father who's on you and blah, 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 you still push. You still need to test. But at least you can test with somebody who's making sure you don't go too far, but you do graduate. You might start putting holes in walls and punching and blowing up little pieces of glass. But if nothing stops you, you're going to start graduating to other things. Like breaking windows in neighbors' houses or throwing fire on top of parked cars. Just random. And again, I'm not condoning any of this. I'm just saying, ladies, there is a massive difference during the decade of dumbness on what boys do and what girls do and what we do to test. Because girls might be tagging, but they don't do it like we do. We do it. Girls might also break into cars, but they don't do it like we do. We do it. You know what I'm saying? There is a massive difference to what is done, and these are the things that are done. This is not an exaggeration. I could tell you stories, but none of them will end up here on YouTube. Maybe I'll save that for a Patreon thing. Because the thing you also have to realize, ladies, is that during the decade of dumbness, the first half is under your supervision, and that's about it. It's like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Once he reaches this age, it's not you anymore. It's not your supervision. It's not you checking him. It is the world now. If you don't have a strong male presence to check this dude, if you keep letting it go, you only really got those first 5 years. After that, it is now the world. After that, it's not a school calling you saying, oh, he did this. It's the police calling you saying he did this, he did that, he's here, you need to come pick him up, he's out on like, it is now the world who will look at him as a menace. Not like, oh, he's a cute little, nah, it's like you are a danger now. You are now a threat. And this is another piece of life, ladies, that does not apply to you. It kind of never applies to you. But for us, it applies at a very young age, which is when you turn 10, 11, 12, when you start crossing over this, the world starts to recognize you as a threat. You're still legally a child, and you're literally a boy still. World don't give a flow. World sees you as something that needs to be protected against. The world wants to protect other people and other things from you. Think I'm joking? Okay. Here's an example, just for funsies. If you go to a woman's shelter, let's say you are married right now and you got kids, but then if something happens and you need to bounce, right? You as the woman, you take your kids. You've got 2 girls and a little boy. Your son is your oldest. He's 12. If you go to the woman's shelter, depending on which woman's shelter it is and where their cutoff is and where you live, they don't let your son stay. No. Why? Because, again, some women's shelters cut it off at 10, some it is 11, some is 12. Once a boy crosses into this age range, they are no longer considered a child, even though legally they're your kid, even though they're in your supervision. Nope, they're not allowed to stay. So you and your girls and everyone, even up to your grandma who's 90, there's no age limit or anything on a woman. It's a woman's shelter. But for a man, even though you're not a man, you're a 12-year-old boy. They don't care. They're like, he need to go find other accommodations. Look it up if you don't believe me. The world does not give you leeway. The world is not going to look out for your son the way that you are. So do what you need to do to look out for your son and give him that male energy. Give him that male. He needs to be checked in the ways that men check other men. Again, we're going to do a lot more videos on this around Father's Day, especially one big one. But we keep the code amongst ourselves. Men check other men to keep other men in line, and that's how society works. If there were no police, if there were no laws and everything, men would just get together and form it in a way. There'd be some kind of council of men who would be like, nope, these are the rules and that. And the rules, ladies, just so you know, the reason I'm calling this like a caveman primal thing is these rules and ways of behavior and things that I'm talking about are immortal. This is something that's not going to change. Just because Hansel
so hot right now. Hansel
might say it's hot right now to act like, none of these things matter. That's just right now. And even right now, obviously, that's not the truth. This is the same things, the same rules applied to us in 1192, 1492, 1992, and then 2092. When we get there, it's going to be the same thing. It's just how the game go. And ladies, please don't get mad at me. I ain't create you. I ain't create the game. But I'll show you how to move through it. So ladies, I know you might not like this. And some of you, especially depending on if you listen to the end, hopefully you have. This is important because literally Your sons' lives matter. They hang in the balance because if you break certain rules, your life is ruined forever. During your decade of dumbness is when you do the most illegal stuff you're gonna do. Really. Unless you grow up later and you do some kind of Ponzi scheme or some random stuff like that. But when people talk about their past, when they stole cars and they sold drugs and all this, when did it happen? Most likely during their decade of dumbness. They're not really doing it when they're 35. I'm going to start. Nobody's Walter White up in this bad boy. And even that situation happened under drastic circumstances. So that's what I'm saying. So when I say this is life and death, I'm not joking. I'm not being hyperbolic. Look at the statistics of the people who are in jail right now. How many of them are from single mothers? And again, I'm not saying it's your fault, like women are bad or you're wrong. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm just saying there is a massive need. A need. We will seek it out from anyone we can. So it better be somebody you pick, ladies. Because the fact is, you might feel that you don't need no man. I don't need no man. You might not need a man, but he absolutely does. So that's the end of today's lesson. Now, you know what to do. You know the deal. Go ahead and throw thumbs. And if you found value in this, go ahead and subscribe and make sure you keep getting all these juicy goodnesses, all these lessons and stuff, these gold bars of knowledge that I'm dropping on you. And if you're a man watching this or even a woman watching this, go ahead and slide this video to somebody who might need to hear it. Because again, especially this one, I'm trying to save lives right now, all right? Now, I know you love these lessons. So go ahead, come on back and click on another video. But until next time, no. Deuce, deuce.